I just had a breakthrough epiphany, and it's silly. It's like after all these years, and I want to document it before I forget. And so I was watching. In a patient's room, and I was messing with their tube feeding because they had some meds and things and an antibiotic to give. And they have a Spanish channel on, and it's a very animated, kind of emotional channel with a court case. And I'm watching the communication, and the words are muffled, so I can understand some Spanish. I'm not like I speak like a 6-year-old, but the it was muffled enough to where I couldn't understand. And what I started to realize is that certain cultures, certain languages, they're more comfortable actually expressing emotions, and other ones repress it. And there's a huge amount of consequence that goes to that. So when I express emotion, I don't choke on it, and there's like a freedom, and it's almost like this. I got this idea of that it was just okay to have feelings, and it was okay to feel in the public, and those feelings could be anger, whatever, but they're just very openly displayed in communication. And other cultures like English culture, I'm trying to think German culture, they tend to be more stoic, and they kind of run away from expressing their emotions. And there are benefits to the stoicism. One of them is that people can't read you. Whereas the emotional, expressive person, like an Italian, you know exactly where they're coming from by the way that they're talking to you, the intonations and things. But the other thing is that it's kind of like never having a safe space to feel, and almost like creating a sense that it's dangerous to express emotions. And my brain started turning, and I was just thinking about that for a little bit. And I was, huh, it's really dangerous in certain contexts and cultures to show emotion. And that affects everything you do in life. Everything. Then I was thinking about like the difference, like emotional and relatively to how people express emotions when you know somebody. And typically when you're at a distance from somebody, they tend to be less emotional. And as you and I mean like a less emotional, it's like you can't really tell. Are they being happy? Are they being sad? Are they being just kind of like cautiously distant? And while in the Latin languages you have a sense of outer emotion, when people get closer, there's still a change. And people have a more sincere, a more targeted, a sharper, more refined expression of emotion. And this also follows in Stoic cultures with Stoic languages, where you'll see a side of somebody because the emotion paints it with a different color. And so all this got me thinking about like how for some the validation of having an emotion is to feel it and to express it, and which is very much a human thing because we want to. And then for others, it's like the ultimate threat, the ultimate vulnerability. It's like constantly playing poker. And it's really interesting. I can see benefits to both, but in all honesty, it's probably better to express things in your emotions because that way you're getting it out. You're feeling, I imagine that if you're being emotional, you can get pulled, but since you're expressing it so much in everything that you're doing, maybe you never get to the point where you have an eruption because all those little things take pressure off. So I kind of wonder if, like, the outbursts and all this crazy stuff that tends to happen in the United States, is because of repressing emotion in our culture, in our language, that everything has to be flat. And the moment my words are painted with excitement, they're painted with doubt, with nervousness, they're painted with fear, anxiety, anger, with happiness, with I don't know, just some of the positive ones people take well, but a lot of times people will also be dismissive. They'll talk about that person as being unhinged. They'll regress that person like they're immature, and so it's almost don't express emotion. We'll accept some positive emotion. Never express a negative emotion. But if you express too much positive emotion, then I'm going to actually bully you into not being emotional. And I didn't realize that. I hadn't really thought about it that way until I'm giving meds to a guy with the tube feeding. as a Spanish novella is just blurting. That's my food for thought.